Hello again. Welcome to my second video I'm posting on drawing this bear. I chose this bear because right now I've seen the news that the bears are supposed to be, and are, teddy bears are kind of comforting. And during this time we need the comfort we can and just encouragement. So, and although I don't golf, I like to give a little human characteristics to bears when I can, kind of like dressed up in different outfits or whatever, almost like human-like. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So, alrighty. So we're going to have our pen ready. So we're going to start. We're going to start with our ears. Kind of go about halfway in the page. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just do the best you can. So again, I'm kind of going a little shaky, and then I also like to leave a little, kind of like what I did with the bunny rabbit. This little hair there. You don't have to do that. Just to me, it gives a little more character. So then it's a little shaky with the fur. So kind of comes along. So then the other part is that you come along and draw the eyes. It's almost like a little. There you go. Just fill it in. And then leave just a little bit of highlight in there. And then we just draw the nose. So there he is, the original painting. Original drawing, I'm sorry to say. I am a watercolor artist, so I tend to think about painting a little more sometimes. So then you draw a little half J, another one. Kind of gives a little effect like he's smiling. Then you just want to have the bottom part of the mouth. There you go. And then I'm going to make the collar here. There you go. So like he's wearing a little polo shirt. And then I just bring it down and draw the arms. So then right here we're going to have the golf club. So right here is going to be the tip of where you grip the golf club. I don't personally golf. I respect it a lot. I can't even miniature golf, to be honest, so that just shows you I don't know exactly where that ball goes. Everywhere but in the hole. So I learned a long time ago that I do not have that ability. No. There you go. Just drawing the fur. Now, you might notice that the hands are just a little bit lower, but that's okay. It can add a little more character to it, like he's, because instead of being stiff and just, rigid, and again, just have fun, be loose, be free. It's a cartoon, so like I said before, I really feel that cartoons don't really, you can't really, in your mind you might think you made a mistake, or you made a big error, but you know what? And then you look at it, you're like, I've done that before. I've come across a painting I did, and oh my gosh, I didn't like it at the time. But then I look back at it, and I'm like, okay, this is not too bad. I'm pretty happy with it. But we get so critical with ourselves, and we expect something. You you're hard. I think you're your worst critic, to be honest. Sometimes, um, you know. And if you're just doing the drawing, you're doing it for yourself. You're not. It's not like you're. Uh, commission work is a whole different thing. That's if you're drawing it for somebody and you want it to look like this person or this landscape or this building, then you feel like you have under pressure. But I remember when I was about, I don't remember, it was like junior high or whatever it was, one summer, I just spent all year drawing, learning how to draw. But basically how I taught myself how to draw. I had a little shadows. Don't go overboard probably. I wouldn't probably suggest it because it's a coloring page. But I like to kind of give it a little bit of shadow. Sort of adds, kind of like he's into the background. Now, we're not exactly going to do background. I mean, I guess you could. Why not? Let's go for that. So, we're going to do like a little golf course here. And then you could have the little sand trap. The camera was kind of veering away from what I was painting. Then you want to have where the greens are. Okay, just sort of, and then this is where the, well, this would be the greens, but that's the rough. Okay, got to get my terminology here. And we're going to have the golf ball. He's going to go a little bit closer to you, and that's a little bit of perspective there. Hopefully I'm not an expert in anything, really, to be honest. I've just done this for so long, and I've learned from teachers. I've learned from watching, people or on TV, sometimes on internet, YouTube. Just kind of got some inspired things, but a lot of it has just been from myself. And, okay, we're going to add a little. So the background is kind of, like I said, it's just optional however you want to do it. I'm going to add little trees. I mean, I could really go overboard and draw a lot of things, but I'll leave that up to you. We're gonna. Remember, in a landscape, there is a. If I get this correct, this is the foreground, which would be closer to you. Kind of where he's at is almost in the middle ground, but he's the main character. So the middle ground and then the background. This one doesn't really, I mean, we're not doing a landscape per se, but that's what you would do. Just the gist of it. And again, I don't want to say that I'm an expert in anything. I just been doing this a long time. And I've kind of learned on my own. And learn from trial and error. There you go. And you can add a little details, textures, but I think that's pretty good. And then you can just color it in. And that's the fun part. You can just have fun and enjoy. What I would really encourage you, if you could do, a lot of times I would add a little shading to this. I mean, depending on what you're going to use with colored pencil or crayon. Add a little shading, a little darker on this side. I'll have to show you. I'm actually working on a little watercolor painting of this, but we're not going to get to that today. So we're just going to, but this is sort of what I've kind of started, just to show you over here, is a watercolor version of this bear. So I could do a little bit of, just to show you, we're not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but okay. The browns I pretty much got from, you know, mixing yellow, red, and blue together. That's my palette. It's a very messy palette. I, work, just kind of blend my own colors a lot of times and kind of learn how to do it. Uh, some colors I have to get through the tubes because they're very specific. But again, this is just a basic paper, student grade paper. I don't really work wet. I don't do wet on wet as much. I'm not opposed to it. I just, that's not my particular thing that I do. And again, I'll just show you another little piece I'm actually working on today. Is the, if I can turn this camera just a tiny bit, it's kind of like what we're doing with the social distancing, where he's sitting on a computer and then he's become an island to himself. And so that's kind of my concept. I'm in the middle of this picture, and the ships are, to me, like text messages going out or emails or however we want to communicate through whatever medium and form you want to do. So we want to stay socially connected together. That's kind of my idea. Okay. Well, thank you. This has been a very enjoyable time with me today, and it's actually nighttime here where I'm doing this painting. But that's the one I started with, and this is the one we created tonight. And if you would like to visit my website at jeffmoserweebly.com, and I do watercolors, you can check out my website too. Thank you very much. It's been very enjoyable. Hope that I encourage you and to create, to draw, to paint, however you want to do it, whatever mediums you want to do. That's all fun. It's all a matter of, we got this time we could spend to do things, and just encourage you to, if you could. Thank you for joining me, and have a good day.